Okay, so let's start. Like, how many forward paths are there? There are two forward paths. Although it seems that there are three forward paths, but you can see there is one G5. It is a loop. It is starting at a place and coming down at the same node. So it is not a actually path. It is actually coming to same place. So it can be considered as a loop, right? So what is a loop? Loop is something, or uh, loop is some point you start and you reach the same point again. That is called a loop, or a circular path, circular loop kind of thing. Okay, so here G5 is not a forward path. It is a loop. We can consider as a loop. So we have only two forward paths here. G1, G2, G3, G4 is the gain of the forward path P1. For example, G1 into G2 into G3 into G4 here. Okay, so this is the gain of the forward path 1. And what about the second forward path? The gain is G1 into G2 into G6, right? Three gains are on the path of the second forward path. So G5 it's a loop, it's not a forward path. It should not be considered as a forward path, right? Forward paths will be touching at a node only one time. You should not touch a node multiple times, right? If from a point we start from a node and enter back to the same node, it is a loop. Okay, so it's a not a forward path. So G5, although there's a gain, it is not a forward path. It is a loop. Okay, so we have two forward path. First gain is G1, G2, G3, G4, and second gain is G1, G2, G6. Right now, how many loops are there? How many individual loops are in this? You can see there are feedback path. Three feedback paths are there. One is to minus H1 feedback path, and there is minus H2 feedback path, and there is minus H3 feedback path. So uh, there are three feedback paths, right? There are three feedback paths through the direct feedback through H1, H2, H3 gains. And as I already pointed out that G5 is also a kind of a loop. So that also can be counted as a loop, right? Now we have three loops. One loop gain H1, H2, H3, and that is G5 loop. Now one more loop is there. Can anyone tell me that loop or the gain of that loop? One more loop we are not considered.
Sir, G2 is G6 minus H3.
G2, G6, G2, G6. Yeah, yeah.
Minus H3.
No, yeah. G2, G6 minus H3. G2, G6 minus. Yeah, right. So there are how many loops? Five loops. Okay, no? Yeah,
Yes, sir.
five loops. So one is G2, G3 minus H1. Another is G2 minus H2. Another is G2, G3, G4 minus H3. Another is G2, G6 minus H3. Okay. Another is G5 itself. The gain, the positive gain. It's a node which coming back to itself is a loop. So there are five loops, right? Five loops. Now you can also find the gain of these loops. There are only one positive gain, that is G5. All those are negative because this constitutes H1, H2, H3, four loops, right? Now, first step is we have found forward path gain we have found. Second is loop gains we have found. Now, now we have to products of two non-touching loop. Now we have to find the product of two non-touching loops. Right now, in this loop, which are the non-touching loops here? Which are the non-touching loops? There are five loops. Among these five loops, we have to see and verify which all are the non-touching loops. You can see there are a combination of three loops at the node 4. The node 4 is a combination of, I think, three loops. One is feedback through H1, G5 loop, and three loops also. So that loop is considered three loops. So the loop, first loop, which has a feedback minus H2, G2 minus H2 is not connected to G5. So we can say that is one non-touching loop. the gains G2 H2, G2 minus H2 and G5. And another non-touching loop we can see here is G2 G6 minus H3 loop is not touching to G5 loop, right? So the third step we are trying to find the products or gain products of two non-touching loops. Here we found two pairs of non-touching loops, right? One is 2 3 node have a feedback H2 and G5. Again another is 2 3 to 5 and H3, that also with the node 5. So we need to find out the we need to find the gains, product of the gains of such non-touching loops. Okay, so I'm not able to write here because this is a image. So let me try to if possible. Let me see whether I can draw it. I hope right now I can draw on it, right? Okay, fine. So the non-touching loops are first is this one, this and this are non-touching loops, right? Now again there is another non-touching loop. This guy. This is another non-touching loop. This one which you have seen, and the same thing, and the same thing. This. So there are the two non-touching loops. So what are the gains? So first gain we can see the first gain will be minus G2 H2 and G5, right? So first two non-touching loops. Second product, this is the first product. Now second product of the non-touching loops are same thing, G2 G6 H3. So the whole thing have a minus into again G5. So this is the second group of non-touching loops. So these are the products of two non-touching. Now next step is find the calculation of delta determinant delta and delta k. Okay, so what is delta? We know equation. We already found the forward path. So 1 minus forward path gains plus product sum of product of two non-touching loops, right? And that's it. There are only two non-touching loops here, right? So we have this thing. So the answer will be, so let's find the dou first, right? Okay, so delta will be 1 minus all those gains which you have found, right? So what are the gains you have found? We can just write it. You can say P11 first loops non-touching 4 P21 P31 P41 P5. So these are the non-touching loops products you have found. There are 1, 2, 3 individual loop. These are the individual loop gains. So starting from G2, G3, H1. Okay, you can just substitute all these individual loop gains which you have found, individual loop gains, right? You can put it here. Then product of two non-touching loops, product of two non-touching loops. That is with plus. That is we already just found out. That is G2 H2 G5. There's a minus always. Again G2 G5 G6 H3. So this is the delta. This is the delta. Okay. So you can verify it. I'm just discuss the I'll just discuss the way. Other things, algebra, I'm sure you'll not be making much mistakes. Now what is delta one? Now how to find the delta one? Delta one. So you know that is that will take one forward path or forward path one, and will take a loop which is not touching that forward path. So here we know the forward path. Which is the forward path? We have a straight forward path. Like we have a forward path 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have a forward path like this, which is touching all the loops, right? So which is therefore 1 minus delta 1 will be 1 minus 0. There is no loop which is not touching this forward path, right? It is touching all the possible forward path, all the loops here is touching the forward path. So this is delta 1, 1 minus, right, forward, all the loops which is not touching that forward path, gains of loops that is not touching that forward path. But here the first forward path has all the loops touching it with it, so there is no gains. So 1 minus 0 is equal to 1. This is delta 1. Now what is delta 2? Delta 2 is this is the far path of the graph which is not touching second forward path, or the loop where there is a second forward path is not touching. So you can see uh, from the uh, from the image, you can see here that which forward path. Now we are talking about the forward path, this forward path, that is this guy, this forward path. So which is the part of the loop which is not touching this forward path? It is the G5. This guy is not touching with the this forward path. Okay, so what will be the delta 2? Delta 2 is nothing but 1 minus, what is the forward path is not touching the second forward path? Yeah, G5. Yeah, gain is, loop gain is G5. So delta 2 is 1 minus G5. Okay, so that's it. Now we can apply this in the gain formula. So the answer will be, if you apply these things, the answer will be nothing but T equal to 1 by delta delta we have found, P1 delta 1 plus P2 delta 2. That's it. Okay. So the answer will be, I'm just writing the answer, you just copy it. It's a bit big, but it's not that difficult to get. G1, G2, G3, G4 plus G1, G2, G6 minus G1, G2, G5, G6 divided by big piece of 1 plus G2, G3, H1 plus H2, G2 plus G2, G3, G4, H3 minus G5 minus G2, H2, G5 plus G2, G6, H3 minus G2, G5, G6, H3. Okay. So this is continuing from here. Okay, so you please write it down, and is the this is the solution. You try it, and definitely I will ask one question of this and block diagram in the examination. And I think this much is sufficient for this. You have to practice. Right now, I'll put some questions, and you can practice it. Okay. So right now, I want to continue with some of the examples of the control system. We didn't do much of the examples. So before going to model a control system, a transfer function, we should see some more some more control system examples, like a temperature control system, motor control system. Maybe we have to see. So before that, I had to discuss about the response also. It's a bit about the response. Okay, I hope you have written down this. I hope you have written down this. So right now we will discuss a bit about the response. So what is the response? For example, we have a motor. Now we press the switch of the motor start rotating. Like for example, you take an example of your fan. We have a regulator. What is a regulator? We are controlling the speed of the fan. Okay, so we want the fan to run at a particular RPM. But when you switch on the regulator or the fan immediately don't jump to that specific field, that speed. It takes some time. So that is called delay or latency. How much time uh, the output, how much time is taken by the output to reach the desired output. So we already discussed that we have the input, right? Input and the output. So output has to be some. So what is the input? Input should be desired. We'll give the reference or input or desired. What we desire is given in the input. For example, we need to run the motor or the fan at 5, maximum speed 5. So we give the corresponding input. Now fan is automatically rotating. Here is no feedback because the regulator is not continuously checking whether this fan is running at high speed or low speed or whatever. So we are just giving our desired. Whatever we desire, we giving the input. We are waiting for the output. So the time duration for the input is acting upon the system and the output is generated slowly. So this is called latency, or you can say this is some delay, lag, so some lag, so that the input is acted upon system and the output is stable. Okay, so and in the closed loop system, we can say we have the controller, there's a fan, there's a motor. So in the closed loop system, we should know in the closed loop system, this is can be divided into two things. We have this is motor, or we can this is the model of the plant system. This is a motor. Same example, this is a motor. Now we'll have a controller. Closed loop system, we have a controller. Now what the controller does, the controller always have a check on the output. Always have a check on the output, and it always act on the error. This is plus, this is minus, right? So based on the output, desired output is reached or not, the controller can act and act, give some impulse or give some input or some pressure on the motor, so that my output is matching with the input. That is the meaning is that means when output and input are matching, my error, my input and output are matching, the error input to the controller error equal to 0, right? Input minus output equal to error, that is going into the input of the controller, right? So controller based on the error will again pressurize the motor to go faster, go or less speed or faster speed. Okay, so what is the, now we'll draw the graph of the response. What is the output? So this is our time. Response is always with respect to time, based on the time. Okay, so I have this. So we have a speed, we have some speed kind, we have put a regulator in the speed maximum, speed max, s max, speed max, right? Speed max, there are different speeds. For example, I have speed at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, so when I kept my speed at maximum point, you can see that I have already given my desired output is maximum. Desired output is maximum. This is maximum desired output. Desired output. So desired output I'm giving as the input, right? So my input is nothing but my desired output. Input I'm giving as a desired output. Okay, right. So when I put my switch on the maximum point of a regulator, I expect that my fan will run at this maximum speed, but there is some delay. The system, the motor has some kind of inertia. There is some resistance. There is a disturbance with the room, humidity, a lot of load on the fan or a motor. So we can say that there are different kinds of responses. We can say this is a response. So I'm drawing the response of the system, response graph, response plot. Okay, with respect to time. So this is called transient response. Transient response. You can say this is a transient response because with respect to time, this is a transient response. Okay, so when I fix my input at the maximum speed, now I have to wait till my output is reaching that desired speed. So there is a graph which starts from 0 time, and I should draw. So this will be something like this. Initially it will be, there will be no action for some millisecond, then it will be slightly in linear mode. Now it will be slightly again, something like this. I will get something like this, right? So this is what my actual output is getting. Initially span is rotating. These are different speeds. These are different speeds. Different speeds. You can see this is a different speeds which my fan is rotating. And finally, before reaching into this at 0, this is initially there is no response. You can see this here. Again, my speed is slightly increasing. My speed is slightly increasing. Okay, so response, I'm getting some response. Okay, although this is an open loop system, I'm talking about open loop system. Have different speeds until until my desired output or desired output is matching with the desired input. or sorry, actual output is matching with the desired input. So it takes some time. So this is called latency. So here, as in signals and systems and networks you have studied, there's a transient response and steady state response. So there are two things here. One is transient. Oh, sorry, dynamic response or transient response. So this is called dynamic response. So this is till here. This is steady state. Here it is steady. Output is steady. So this is steady state. This is steady state. From here to here, this is steady state. Before that, before it reaches steady state, it has some transient state. You can say dynamic state. So dynamic state. Okay. So we have to check whether my output is matching the input once it is reached the steady state. Okay. Before reaching steady state, there is some kind of latency. So until it reaches steady state, I cannot measure my output is perfectly which I desired, right? So we have to always see the steady state. Steady state, what is output as steady state? Then compare with my desired, that is desired output. Then compare the steady state output with the maximum speed required or whatever I am desired. Okay. So this is one of the important response characteristics of control system. And what is the error? There will be always some error. Maybe when we bought the fan, when you bought the fan, it'll be having something properties like this. But as it ages, what happens? Your characteristics can vary. Your characteristics can vary. Maybe your output is maybe a bit less. Although your desired output is like this, your desired output is like this. This is your desired output. But what you see is your actual output may be a bit damped or bit less, something like this. So there is always some error. What is the error here? The difference between desired output and actual output. So this is the error. So this you can see the steady state error. This error is between these 2 points is the difference between my desired output and actual output. So this is called steady state error. Okay, it can be positive or negative. Sometimes it can be negative also, or something. It can be like this. This is going at more speed than what you expected. This is first option. The second condition, because of some uh, damping effect, now it is going with more speed, so error is negative here. But because of the system we are assuming it is open loop, it cannot adjust itself, the controller cannot adjust itself. Okay, so this is the latency. The time taken by the system to reach a steady state output is called latency. So here you can say this is latency, this is the latency. Steady state is reached only at this point from zero, so this is latency of this system. Time taken to reach the steady state. It's called latency. Okay, so um, imagine if you're doing an operational kind of, we are using a robot for robotic surgery, robotic operation. This is not actually so good thing. The robot is having some response. Although the response latency will be there, it should be reduced. We cannot expect the robotic surgery, the robot to have a latency of few seconds. It should have latency of few milliseconds or less than that. Right? The more latency, the less we have control. Okay. So this is a very important system characteristics, and this depends on application. Here for a manual fan, manually controlled fan, regulator fan, this doesn't make much difference. We start from zero and latency can be few seconds. But as a application is more precise, like space application, health, surgery, automobile, has to be very careful on the response. Okay, so we have discussed two things: dynamic response and steady state response. And there's always an error associated with it. It may not be in it can be in milli, micro, nano. It depends upon applications, etc. Okay, so this is the example you have taken is a open loop system, fan regulator. Okay, so I think we'll take one more example of temperature controls, so that just to understand what are the systems we are going to model. So this is a simple example of temperature control system. So before that, I think we already discussed the one example of a driver controlling the vehicle. So in open loop system, you just press the accelerometer, and based on the road circumstances, the vehicle may get the desired speed, may get more than the desired speed if it is a downhill road. So there is no control. Okay. So let us take the example of temperature control system also, right? Temperature control system, where ultimately we are having an electric heater. For example, we need, what is actually a heater? We have coil of wire, right? A coil of wire. This is called electric heater, electric furnace. You can say electric heater. This is heater. So in open loop system, what will give? It just give the supply. It just give the AC supply to this, right? For example, if my home I have a AC supply, I can have a switch like this, and I can on the switch. For example, this is my switch. For this, I can on this switch, and I am giving AC supply. Okay, so this is my switch. Okay, when I on the switch, the heater is on. Now this is open loop system. I'm giving the supply, AC supply, and the heater is working. Now suppose we are designing something which has better facilities. I have a sensor. I have a sensor which senses the temperature, so that the user can also see how much uh, how much temperature the heater is giving in the output, right? So I will have some kind of, this is analog, so I need to display. So I'll display using analog to digital converter, right? This is analog to digital converter, just for adding some functionalities. Okay, I'm just analog to digital converter, and again I have to display it, right? I'll display some interface, have some controller, some interface. I'll have interface, some kind of interface, and I'll display using some digital display or display. Okay, why is digital? Because I have converted this into analog to digital. This analog value from the, and the sensor is converted into digital, so this will be digital display. Okay, so this is the open loop system. So only thing is I am just displaying the heat or the temperature to the user or the room customer or whatever. Okay, now this is still not the, so this is sensor, this is the sensor, this is not a closed loop system. Now whatever power I'm giving, I'm just switching on the power supply, and the heater is getting heated. Okay, so if I need to make this closed loop control system, what should I do? What all things I should make? Okay, so you should know the working. Here the supply is on. This is a switch for controlling the input, and this will be generating a lot of heat. And there is a sensor which reads the heat and temperature, and it will be converted into digital for displaying in the LCD or LED. Now, when you have a closed loop control, right, here also for open loop also we need one more difference here. We need a control circuit here. Open loop also we need some kind of circuitry which we can increase the what we should be able to increase the heat of the room. For example, we have a regulator in the fan, right? So we need some kind of a control. We can add some kind of a control, right? Some kind of a control which we can increase or uh, decrease the temperature of the room. Control, we can have different settings, right? 1 2 3 4 5. This is cooled, this is a bit hotter, more hotter, very hot, super hot, right? Like different control system, right? Then we can add the power to the switch. Okay, so this is a simple open loop control. We can just need to press any of the switches and we'll get the that hotness in the room. Okay, now if you want to make this closed loop control, what we should we make? Now we need to take the output and feed back to the input, right? So what we'll do now, we don't need the different we don't need the settings, open loop settings. So although now what I am going to do is here is I'm going to change the settings here. I'm going to change settings, although still I can take the user input. I'm using from here 1 2 3 4 5. Still I have the power switch. All these are there, but my controller will be also checking the present output, that is current output, and based on that current output, I can decide the power to the heater. So what I'll do, I should take the present output reading. Present output reading, right? I should take the present output reading. For example, I'll take the analog to digital. So I can take the digital interface. This is not required. This is the digital data. So I need to, right, I need to give this digital data to the controller. Maybe the controller is working on digital, then I can directly give this input to the controller. This is one option, that the controller also know what is my current output. This is assuming that the controller is digital. This is assuming that controller is digital. But there is most chances that in a simple heater system like that, the controller may not be a digital device, it will be analog device. So what we will do? So if it is a analog device, it should be working on the relay system. Okay, it will be working on, so assume that it's not a digital device. So this is a analog system. So relay controls relay, working on a relay based on the user input. There's a relay within this circuit system, and it is helping the heater to work at different voltages or different current values based on this 1 2 3 4 5. Now this design is actually initial system also right, but I'm trying to see the different different ways or the system or the product can be designed. Okay, in the latter case, if this is analog system, we need kind of this is, we have digital here. Now from this digital we can read, instead of displaying also we can take the output to the controller. Now this is the digital controller. Now the relay is analog, so we need to use a digital controller here, digital, because we have digital output already coming after the interface. Before displaying, I'm also giving to the controller also. Now the controller, now the controller should decide. Right, then the controller should decide whether the output is desired output is reached or not. Right. So now the input slightly changes. Instead of giving input on the relay side or the analog side, I should give input to the controller side, because controller should know, the controller should know what kind of input I'm desiring. So the input I'm changing to here, desired input. Now desired input I should give to the controller side. Okay. Now the controller side knows what all it knows. It knows what is the desired input, what is the present output. Right. Now it can generate an error. Now here this is a digital controller, so it will be generating a digital error. So this error I need to convert into the analog value. So now I have to digital to analog converter here. Digital to analog converter. Now this digital to analog converter have a small analog voltage in the output of the digital to analog converter. Now this has to again converted using an amplifier, okay, and given to the relay, which decides the excitation of the heater. This is amplifier. You can say this is amplifier. Why amplifier? Because my analog signal will be weak after D by A. Now this has to be amplified properly. Okay, so this is my closed loop control. Okay, so initially what was the whole story? The whole story is, initially I had open loop system where directly I can give the speed, desired speed, or no, sorry, desired speed, no, desired temperature, or desired heating, maximum, minimum, average, okay, zero, etc. So different speed. This input was directly into the relay. I was giving the input directly into the simple circuit of the analog heater, right? But if I want to make it closed loop, and I have to use the a device sensor to sense my output. I have to use a sensor to sense my output of the heater and convert it into digital and display it, because display was already there. So anyway, it was already made into digital by the analog to digital converter interface, etc. So I just take those output and feed to my new controller, digital controller. Why controller came? Because it is now feedback open loop, or sorry, closed loop. Now the closed loop controller needs the present output also and what is desired input also. So right now I change my design. Instead of directly giving my input to the relay, it was in open loop system. Right now I need to give the input, desired input to the controller also, so that controllers know what is my present output. Okay, now the controller compares the present output and the desired output and generates an error, right? So sorry, it acts on the error. So this is controller gets the error, or you can say the controller uh, subtracts the desired output minus actual output, and it works on the error. Error is worked upon by the controller inside, right? We can say it's a digital control system. This error is acted upon by the controller, and it generates a digital signal, for example 0 1 1 1 0 something value, which is converted into analog value, which is amplified by the amplifier and again given to the relay, so that now the based on this current I am giving to the relay, there may be more heating, less heating based on the present output. Okay, so this is one of the best example for a closed loop and open loop. So initially we consider open loop system, which we don't have any control over the we don't have any control, automatic control over the output. We can just fix what is the operation performance required, maximum, minimum, average, below average, above average, warm, etc. And other parameters we don't have one. But when we added a controller, we should make the controller know what is the desired input, sorry, desired output. This is output, sorry, here and the desired input. We know we should make controller understand what is the desired output, and you also feed the present output to the controller, so that it takes the difference and it sees the error. There is an error, that means my desired output is not matching the actual output, or actual output is not matching the desired output. So error, based on the error, it has to amplify some signal. We have to give some signal to the main analog part, relay part, which is controlling the, which is the actually the system or plant, we can say plant, which is exciting the coil, right? So the signal to the coil, exciting coil, is coming from the controller. So if it is more heat required, the controller will more signal, which is output by the digital to analog converter, and the amplifier give more excitation, right? If it is reduce the temperature, the amplifier will be dampened, the signal will be dampened, and the relay will be giving less current. Okay, so I think this is sufficient. We have this example is sufficient. Now we'll be able to model um, a heating system and a gyroscope, a motor, any type of motor we can model using somewhat of Laplace transform also required. So we will be next class also we'll be trying to model different different systems. Okay, so we'll stop it here. Any doubts or any suggestions or any feedback, or based on the timing or the way we are going or something? I hope everyone is doing good health wise and family, everything's good. So any questions or any suggestions or any comments or anything you want to? Okay, if there is nothing, I'll stop recording.